I of Nagaland Police hereby pledge not to engage in the production, manufactures, possession, sales, purchase, transportation, and consumption of narcotic drugs,
in the production, manufacture, possession, sale, purchase, transportation, and consumption of narcotic drugs,
or psychotropic substances. I am aware that engaging in the above activities is an offense. Under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985.
Under the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985.
I further take a pledge to bring to the notice of the authorities above any NDPS related activities if it comes to my knowledge, and that I will take all efforts in my capabilities to make India drug free.
I further take pledge to bring to the notice of the authorities about any NDPS related activities if it comes to my knowledge, and that I will take all efforts in my capability to make India drug free.
Kugnalem Jai Hind.
We need to be prepared for all this. Prevention is better than cure, and since we are at the forefront of most law and order issues in the state. The Nagaland police faces the brunt of the law and order problems. We need to proactively identify and narrow down upon potential flashpoints like intertribal or factional or village disputes, or even agitation by various NGOs or CSOs or ad hoc organizations, and seek solutions to such flashpoints or problems, and advise the government in advance to help tackle these problems. Our society has some peculiar features where the village and tribal level units are very important. So are some of the CSOs and NGOs. We would like to devise mechanisms to actively associate with each stakeholder by creating formal linkages so that policing can be synergized and an effective police-public partnership can be developed. The provisions of the Criminal Procedure Code and the rules for administration of justice and police in Nagaland provide ample legal basis for such coordination. While we would like to urge the public and CSOs to help us, but we would also urge them not to take law into their own hands and act within the confines of law. All measure of partnership is welcome, but remember we have to act within the confines of law. We will try to work out mechanisms for such cooperation and even organize training courses or interactions with the public for developing such mechanisms. Since most districts and police stations do not have too much active police work, we would like to start training programs for the public in law enforcement and police at various levels, starting from the villages to the schools. There is a need to establish linkages between traditional customary methods and modern policing. Crimes or matters which fall within the ambit of the jurisdiction of villages, the village councils and their competence need to be documented and linked with the policing for effectively securing the lives and properties of people in Nagaland. Our investigation skills and component needs an uplift qualitatively and logistically. We are working on a plan to project our requirements to the government. We need to shift from the danda to the kanun. Some of the hurdles we face are budgetary constraints and logistic and forensic constraints. We should realize, and the public too, that what is evidence in the eyes of an ordinary man is not so for the courts, where higher standards of evidence are required. Therefore, we need to focus on scientific investigation. For this, we need resources. Alternate dispute resolution mechanisms like negotiations and mediation exist in all societies, including Nagaland. However, when alternate dispute resolution starts overtaking the formal ones, there is a time to think. Are we doing our job well? Does the public trust us as persons or as an institution? Does the public trust our professionalism or fairness? Does the public have faith in us and they can come to us in times of distress? Free and open registration of crimes and cases is important to revive the public trust in policing. Enhanced crime figures should not be seen as ineffectiveness in maintaining law and order or breakdown of law and order, but as proof of the public trust in the police department and the police force. We at PHQ would want to see it that way in future. We should encourage registration of crimes as proof of public faith in us and the government. With an oppositionless government in Nagaland, sir, we would like to request yourself to help us in advocating this with the government so that increased crime figures are not seen as breakdown of law and order but as a proof of trust in the police department. The Honorable Supreme Court of India and the Guwahati High Court have been pushing for separation of investigation and law and order functions. So we have had internal discussions within the department and we are working out on a plan for separation of investigation of law and order from separation of investigation and law and order. This mechanism will be put in place in the coming months and we all have to reorient ourselves to this. In the end, let me assure you, sir, that Nagaland Police would leave no stones unturned towards maintaining a better and peaceful and fear-free environment in the state, which would help us in Nagaland to usher in a new era of development and investment in Nagaland. Under your guidance, we will try to uplift our standards of work and policing and do whatever is possible within our capacities. Thank you very much, sir, and welcome again to this conference.
At the outset, I would like to thank Almighty God for giving us this beautiful moment to come together once again, and also extend my greetings and best wishes to all of you present here. Indeed, this is my third inning to hold the Department of Home, and therefore we are quite familiar to each other. Therefore, I consider every one of you as my own family members. I would like to express my sincere thanks to the Honorable Chief Minister Sri Nipiu. In this regard, this meeting of unit commanders of Nagaland Police and senior police officer is being convened to have a short interaction with all of you after the largely peaceful conduct of election of the 14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly during January to March 2023. During the electioneering process, some stray incidents of poll-related violence were witnessed, but the situation in the state was peaceful. It is laudable on the part of the police department that it has continued to maintain vigil and effectively tackling post-school complaints also. Our new government has assumed office, and this tenure is likely to witness the proposed election, which is mentioned by our DGB, to the urban local bodies, G20 summit, and a possible solution to Naga political issues, among other things. In this connection, the state, particularly the police department, has to prepare itself for dealing with any situation which may develop during or after the events which we expect to happen. After the unfortunate incident at Oting in Mount District, a committee set up by MHA to review the AFSPA has proposed lifting of AFSPA in 15 police stations jurisdiction of Nagaland. This means that primary role of maintaining law and order and tackling of insurgents has fallen on the shoulder of the Nagaland police. As things continue to unfold and improve, with decreased factional violence, more police station areas can be expected to be removed from the application of ASPA and disturbed areas. These will place additional burden and responsibilities on police, Nagaland police. On the other hand, the removal of ASPA would mean curtailment of resources and fund allocation to Nagaland police under SRE, schemes of government of India. In this backdrop, the Nagaland police may have to shoulder additional responsibilities with slightly diminished resources. There is an urgent need to improve the efficiency of the department, which can be done by reorganization and restructuring the police force so that better and optimal utilization of manpower and resources can be undertaken. Our police force has been undertaking all efforts tirelessly. There is a feeling that IR drones are probably overused, overworked, and fatigued. There is an urgent need to devise a mechanism to reduce work-related stress and exhaustion of the IR personnel, for which the DGP and BHQ should devise a policy on the matter. On the other hand, the quality and thoroughness of investigation work needs an immediate uplift, while training facilities and manpower deployment are important. Provisions of adequate funds for training within the state and also in specialized training institutes throughout the country is important. For these two, additional funds may be required. Additional particular provision for purchase of logistic and equipment for investigation work is also required. Separate budget for investigation and FSL is imperative. In this connection, I request that DGP and PHQ may come up with feasible and workable proposal for availing the funds. Available budgetary allocation for investigations are inadequate. Hence, proper proposal for appropriate justification may be made in this regard as well. Combating the trafficking menace also require investment in investigation techniques and FSL facility, which spark in registration of cases pertaining to trafficking. None of the FSL in the Northeast are willing to accept our samples for examination. This leads to delay and also requires additional funds because we will have to send samples to Gujarat for testing. Every sample requires rupees 5,000 for examination, besides DA for officers who transport the samples. Under these circumstances, we need to consider expansion of our own FSL. Setting up of a cyber forensic laboratory is need of the hour because in near future, almost all crimes will have an IT or cyber interface. The GOI, the Government of India, has come up with new vehicles scrapping policy where all vehicles which are more than 15 years old will have to be scrapped and taken off road. This policy, when implemented in Nagaland police, will result almost 30% of the vehicles being taken off road and would deal a body blow to working and efficiency of Nagaland police. Additional budgetary allocation on a recurring basis would be required. It is learned that almost more than 3,000 personnel of Nagaland police are attached, either as a bodyguard or for non-police duties. I take this very serious. There is an urgent requirement to minimize such deployment and attachment so that more manpower is available for policing and law and order work. So I would like to request DG and PHQ that within 2 months, all this, I gave you 2 months, within 2 months, all this bodyguard, unnecessary attachment of bodyguards, even bureaucrats, technocrats, retired bureaucrats, technocrats, they are attached. Ex-MLAs, they are attached with 4 or 5 bodyguards. So I give 2 months to withdraw all these bodyguards from those retired officers. I would like to make a point that the police personnel are the eye, the ear of the department and the guardian of the citizens in terms of safety and security. Therefore, people having high expectation upon them that in their presence the citizens are safe and to live in peaceful atmosphere. However, it is observed that many police personnel are noticed to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs accused, and that belittles or damages the image of the department as a whole in the eye of the citizens. Therefore, this kind of misconduct or indisciplined behavior of the personnel should be checked sternly and necessary punitive action be taken. To conclude my address, I urge upon the DGP to have a look at all these issues that have been dismantled in a fast-paced manner and devise a way forward so that the government of Nagaland and Government of India can be approached to help upgrade Nagaland police professionally to deal with existing and upcoming changes. Here, I want to change our police personal uniforms. Since statehood, we have the same uniforms, but it is the policy of our Honorable Prime Minister that he have announced that one uniform, one nation. Otherwise, during this tenure, I thought that we will change our uniform. For the last 60 years, we are wearing the same color, same uniform. But anyway, since our Prime Minister has come up with a new policy, let us wait for some time for that. Thank you so much.